Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet are full of mysteries, but there's one I heard a lot about that I felt was not a mystery at all. Who hurt Arvens Mabostiff? I thought it was clear, but in the past, when I mentioned mysteries, you all seem to have different opinions about it. So hey, I'm not so a strainer, and who hurt Arvens Mabostiff? Let's get into it. In this video, I will present you with some options as to who might have done it, but I'm more interested in reading your thoughts on the matter as well, so don't forget to let me know what you think in the comments down below. And with that, let's start with what we know. Mabostiff, according to Arven, was hurt somewhere between Research Station 1 and Research Station 2 by a rampaging Pokemon if you're playing Scarlet, or a metallic machine-like Pokemon if you're playing Violet. This was such an attack that Mabostiff can only be healed by consuming the 5 Herba Mystica mentioned in the Scarlet and Violet books. Arven never mentions the name of this creature, but the fact that it happened somewhere between Research Station 1 and 2 limits our options, or at least seems to limit them. Arven describing them as rampaging or metallic machine means that we're probably dealing with a paradox Pokemon and not your run-of-the-mill Girafarig, for example. Still, one would think Arven would react if he saw that specific Pokemon, which means that it isn't any of the ones we encountered as we descended into Area 0. And we do, technically, encounter them all, as the AI professor even uses the one that do not spawn between Research Station 1 and 2, like Roaring Moon / Iron Valiant. Going back to what I thought happened, originally I thought it could simply be Koraidon or Miraidon. We know that the other legendary that was brought into the crater was a lot more aggressive than the one that was by our side during our journey, supposedly even attacking and killing the professor. This could also explain why Arven seems to not really like Koraidon / Miraidon if we didn't have an explanation for that already. Arven seems to simply be hurt by the fact that his own parent chose work over family, and the legendary to Arven is the product of the professor's work. The fact that Arven doesn't ever mention that the Pokemon that hurt Mabostiff looked exactly like that one kinda seals the deal for me. That Pokemon, Koraidon and Miraidon, did not hurt the dog. Which brings us to the next option, Walking Wake / Iron Leaves. These two Pokemon were only recently introduced in Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, and while they raised a lot of questions, they came with absolutely no lore whatsoever, or even a mention of them. They seem to be related to the imaginary Pokemon found in the Scarlet and Violet books, and while Arven never mentions anything about them, and he does love the book, I have a theory that you should check out about how Suicune and Virizion might not be the only ones left to be revealed. So Arvens Mabostiff could have been attacked by a completely unknown Pokemon, part of the imaginary Pokemon drawing, maybe even Walking Wake on Iron Leaves. We won't know until they decide to actually reveal something about them, maybe a Pokédex entry or something. And as a final option, I think it can simply be a Pokemon we know absolutely nothing about, other than Arven's very loose description. We know that we're getting new Pokemon in the DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, and while Ogerpon and the heroes of Kitakami are, well, in Kitakami, and Terrapogus is in no way, shape or form like the Paradox Pokemon of both games, there's always a chance we have more Paradox Pokemon hidden in the Great Crater of Paldea, besides the ones that theorize are related to imaginary Pokemon. One of my theories is that there's an extra powerful legendary to be met, but I also don't think that's the one, since I don't see us getting that as a Paradox Pokemon. All this time we've been calling Terrapogus the third legendary, or at least that mysterious Pokemon that is theorized to be down in the crater, the third legendary. But what if neither of them is our traditional third legendary? What if, just like Koraidon and Miraidon are Paradox Pokemon, we have the trio leader be a Paradox Pokemon as well, one that has two forms, both a future and a past one. A Pokemon that is able to be rampaging and metallic machine. The incredibly powerful Pokemon that attacked Arvens Mabostiff in such a way that only the fantasy-like power of the Herba Mystica could save it. On the other hand, if they're really playing with our minds in these games, could Mabostiff just have never really been physically sick, but actually just mentally sick, hit by some strange power connected to this whole imagination coming to life? But anyway, that is all I have for you today. It took me a while to get to this topic, but I finally did it. And I believe that the Paradox Trio Leader Legendary might be responsible for what happened to Arvens Mabostiff. Maybe even using the whole concept of reality bending or imagination coming to life to do it. But what about you? What do you think did it? Let me know in the comments down below. And now, like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon content, and also ring the bell so you know when the next video is out. You can follow me on social media and Twitch, I stream there Wednesday to Sunday, not Saturday, or join our Discord. All the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.